I didn't speak to you. I got 29 things on my mind, and you mad because I ain't speak to you today. So now I'm not holy, I'm not godly, there ain't no Lord in me because I walked right past you, but you didn't know that I was going to greet the young man who just lost his wife.
Right.
So I'm beelining to him, and I walk past you, and you mad because you're, like I said, your big toe, you got an ingrown, and now that's the issue.
Welcome to the Burned Out Preacher podcast, where we have frank discussions weekly on ministry struggles and how many of us in the ministry have gone from overwhelmed and exhausted to calm and equipped leaders who love being in ministry. I am your host, Monique Addison-Stinson, burnout prevention coach for ministry leaders. Are you ready to overcome burnout? If your answer is yes, then keep listening. All right, welcome back to the Burnout Preacher podcast. I am your host, Monique Addison-Stinson, burnout prevention coach for ministry leaders, and I help ministry leaders go from overwhelmed and exhausted to being calm and equipped leaders. And today we are continuing our episodes in our series. It is time to talk about ministry burnout. And we have, you probably already know him. He is a pretty big deal. So I am going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead, sir.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be on today. I remember when you reached out to me, I got excited and said, oh, wow. Because I posted something about being burnt out.
Yeah.
And you picked right up on it, and we had some conversations, and it looked wonderful. All the things you were doing, because I went and did all of my research on you. So since I got to introduce myself, I am Pastor Walter Lamar Staples, senior pastor of the Temple of Praise here in Washington, D.C. Married to the wonderful Aisha Staples, 2 children, Walter and Mozzie, and we are here doing ministry right here in the nation's capital.
Awesome. Thank you. So go ahead. You said you did some research on me, which I appreciate. I'm glad you did that.
I started going through and looking to see, okay, who is this?
Right.
Are they real?
Right.
Is it legitimate?
Right.
Is she accredited? I started looking at all this stuff.
Absolutely. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, especially when someone slides in your DMs. You're like, who is this?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because often I just ignore a lot of it. So I'm like, okay, well.
Same.
But then, so when I saw Burnout Coach, and then I started looking at the ministry side and seeing how you associated in ministry, some of the things that you do, I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Thank you. So since you did, could you talk a little bit more about that post that you posted on Instagram that caught my attention, and I'm sure a lot of other people?
You're going to make me go back and look at it. You know how long ago that's been?
It was a while ago. Well, tell me about burnout, your experience with it, where your headspace was when you posted that.
I was literally fighting burnout, like literally just fighting burnout. And I saw some things. I was doing some research and looking at some things about burnout and what it really looks like from a ministry standpoint.
Right.
And then when I saw that, I said, because I'm a natural helper.
Mm-hmm.
That's just who I am. I'm gonna just try to help. And often when I'm going through something, I know there's somebody else that's doing the same thing. Right. I know that there has to be somebody else that's struggling with it. So normally what I do is I turn those situations that I'm fighting with around to help somebody else.
Yeah. Typical pastor. Caregivers, just trying to help people.
It's the heart. It's the heart.
Right. So when you posted that, you said that you felt like you were dealing with burnout at the time. What were the symptoms? Because I feel like a lot of pastors are probably in the throes of burnout, but they don't know it. Like they don't know what it looks like.
In ministry, it comes in several different forms. Of course, in the natural, you have the depression, the anxiety, the detachment, the fatigue, all of those things. Don't feel as if you're creative enough, and all of those. Those are some of the things that you struggle with in the natural side of burnout. But then when you start looking at ministry side of burnout, it comes in different forms.
Right.
Often we think that we're doing good, but yet we're struggling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just because you're busy don't mean that you're effective.
Okay.
Just because you're busy. Now you got the, because ministry side, because we most pastors are set on this pedestal that we are God or next to God or the closest thing to God. So we have to, we're on this pedestal that everybody thinks that nothing ever bothers us.
Right.
We don't have any, and often you can't even share the things that you're going with because there's still so much judgment that's in the pews.
Yeah, exactly.
It's judgment. And African-American community, having, a psychologist, psychiatrist, all of those things, that's faux pas.
Yeah.
It's taboo. That's what you don't do those things.
Right.
Now, not in our community, you don't do that because grandma always said, mom and them always said, what happened in your house, stay in your house. And we're going to deal with it in our house. And we ain't going to go sit on nobody's couch to deal and talk about what's happening in the house.
Exactly.
So we have that side of it that we struggle with. And then we're on this pedestal. And then we find ourselves just being busy to please people and not effective and not pleasing God in the same thing, in the same fashion. Mm-hmm. So busy is normally one solid sign of having ministry burnout.
Right.
Going numb is another side.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, Talk to me about that because I haven't heard that and all the guests that I've spoken with. So what do you mean by going numb?
Oh, going numb? Mm-hmm. Oh, you just going through the process now.
Gotcha.
You're not compassionate anymore. You just going through the day by day process. This is what I do. Right. Because this is what I do. I know what I do. So, showing up at the hospitals, showing up at family members who have lost something and they're dealing with grief. And now you got to do a funeral and then you got to do sick and shut in. And then you got choir later on. And then you have, you have all of these different avenues. Right. You're feeding the people. You're doing it because that's what you know what to do. So now you're on autopilot.
Gotcha.
So when you're on autopilot, you're not feeling the compassion. It's just something that you just do.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
So now I done gone numb.
Right.
Yeah. I'm present, but I'm not present.
Not present. Right.
Yeah. I'm here because I'm supposed to be here, but I'm not engaged.
Yeah.
You have no clue that my mind is on the other, the old school song, my mind is on the other side of town. Right. Yeah, it's all the way on the other side of town. Right. I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. But I'm not engaged.
Gotcha. Wow, that is.
I'm just numb.
Yeah, that is deep, and I would imagine a ton of ministry leaders are going through that right now. So I'm glad you brought that out. So when do you feel like you came out of that? Because I know this post wasn't that long ago. So do you feel like you came out of it?
I feel like I'm headed in the right direction.
Okay.
Because often being a ministry leader or a ministry head, working in an environment where the workplace is not compassionate to mental health. But the workplace is not compassionate. So working on me in a place that's not compassionate to mental health.
Yeah.
Is a hard place to be in. However, you have to find your outlets. You have to find that safe place. You have to find that quiet place to get renewed, get refreshed, get refueled.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're going to stay in that same cycle of burnout.
Yeah.
Where it seems as if everything is going well, but it's the but side.
Right. Right.
It's that side. So.
I was asking some of my past guests about seminary. So I did not go through seminary, but I am affiliated with the AME Church, and we had a ministerial institute. So whenever you accepted your calling and you came forward, you go through the ministerial institute. I got out before before going to seminary. But I wanted to know, and I asked a few pastors who went through seminary, was there any type of training, any type of conversation around burnout, mental health, or any of that? I had one tell me that there was some sort of pastoral care training, but that pastoral care training was how pastors can care for others,
Mhm.
but nothing about how the pastor can care for himself or herself. What are your thoughts on that, on seminary and including some sort of mental health training courses or something being included?
I think that's a very important piece that needs to be added to every seminary to
Right,
make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself, any type of self-care at all, you'll be no good to anybody
right,
if you can't take care of yourself.
right.
And when I went through trainings and classes, a couple different schools, that was not a part of it. Now, mind you, I have a pastoral counseling degree. So with that,
Wow.
it was for me to help other people, but
Right,
not to help myself.
right,
And often, those who are teaching a lot of the classes and a lot of the seminaries, they've never pastored, they just have a degree.
right, right. So just like this is
So it's like you
disconnect.
don't have now you're training pastors, but you've never been one. You
Right.
just so happen to have a degree and you got a job. So you're doing good in your job, but you don't have the experience
Yeah.
and don't understand the weight
Right.
of what it is.
Right. Right.
Because it's, everybody's own problem or issue is the most important issue.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I got, sister so-and-so, she fell and broke her leg. That's an
That's
emergency.
you. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But on the other side of the sanctuary, I got a lady who lost both her children in a car wreck.
Yep.
And then I got to go deal with this young man who, just on the other day, literally lost both his parents while he was at the prom.
Mm.
And
Mm.
then I got homicides that happened down the street.
Yeah.
But everybody's situation is different,
Right.
but all of them are emergencies.
Right.
So with pastors, there is no day off, especially if you're in ministry in areas that people need you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they really do need you.
Yeah. Because what'd you say? You're in DC?
Southeast Washington, D.C., yes.
Wow. Wow. And pastors are also looked at as community leaders as well. Like you have.
Yeah, of course. I did not know that I had to be the social worker.
Right.
I had to be, an employment bank. You know what I mean? I
Right.
didn't know
Right.
that I had to be, the financial stewardship leader. I didn't know I had to do all of those things.
Yeah.
I thought I had to come in and preach and
And
then leave
preach.
out and be happy. Bless the Lord. Amen. We had a great time in service today. And then ministry happens.
Yeah. Right. There's the preaching and then there's the ministry. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Preaching is the fun part to me.
Right.
That's the fun part. I get excited about preaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then from Sunday evening, around about 2:00, after I came out the pulpit and services are done, everything's over, you would think after pouring out, you would get rest.
Yeah.
But there's a line of people that's outside where I almost try to sneak out the back door just so I can get in my car and leave.
Yeah.
Because it's people that's waiting to see and meet and, hey, I have this going on and da-da-da-da. Blah. And like I said, everybody's problem is the most important problem.
Exactly.
And granted, their problem, it is a problem.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
But what about my problem?
Right. Right.
What about me actually sleeping in on Monday?
Right. Right. And you're
Can I skip a service?
Right.
Y'all skip services all the time. Can I skip one? Can I just don't show up today? Can I call in sick? I can't call in sick. Just one. I need to take a month off because I got to get my mental together. Exactly. However, when I come back after the month, 30% of the ministry is gone because I haven't been in place.
Right.
which then starts another issue, which then starts another problem, which then starts something else.
So you brought out so many good points. So I have been I'm trying to think of which one to point out. I have been working with how can I say this? The others. I'll just say that the others. They're not Black.
No problem.
Got it. Okay. So I've been working with them, and I am noticing a huge difference in I'll say the business, if you will, of church or ministry. And I am seeing that the others have systems in place that allow them to take some time off. There's a pastor right now that I'm working with, and she is on vacation. And she and her team, she has a team, and they have been planning for this vacation. Oh, girl is gone. She's not like, you can't. She was like, you can reach out, but I'm not. I'm out. I'm out. Why is it? It seems to me, and I don't want to stereotype, but it does seem to me that the African American churches that I'm aware of don't have those systems in place. Like the pastors just have to do it all. What are your thoughts on that?
Heritage. Heritage. We've always been taught one way.
Gotcha.
And never had this thing. The greatest thing to me in learning anything is called exposure.
Very true.
If you've never been exposed to it and you've never seen a system set up like that, we are not, I'm gonna use this word, we are not mature enough to handle other systems because we were never taught that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, growing up, my uncle was the pastor of the church down in West Virginia, and I never saw him take off. He was always there. He was there so much that he literally built a house beside the church. I'm like, no, like, hear me clearly. Shared the parking lot.
Wow.
And it's still there right now.
Wow.
He would walk out of his kitchen about 45 steps and walk up the steps into his office. He lived on the property where the church is, where he built his house.
Wow.
So he never had a day off. He never had a moment to get away. He never had those times. And literally trained some of the best preachers I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Half of the city down there was licensed and have his signature on their license. But we were never taught to say, you know what? I need family time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need time to get away. I need self-time.
Right.
So since we never saw it, and then often our memberships are not mature enough to handle the absence of the pastor.
Yeah.
But they are mature enough to handle the absence of themselves. So they'll put on the pastors a certain requirement that they're not willing to do themselves. So they can take a sabbatical. Hey, I'm gone for a month, but I try to find out where sabbatical was in the Bible. I had a hard time trying to find it. So I'm just saying I couldn't find it. Sabbatical, man, what is a sabbatical? We taking off. Okay, go get some rest, but you gone for 60 days? Where we do that at? I'm just thought I'd share that with you. Where we do that at? I'm gone for 60. I'm gone for 30 days. Oh, okay. Well, how about this? Don't pay your bills for 60 days and see if you have a house when you come back home.
Yeah, that won't happen. I bet you they paid their bills before they left.
Oh. I would say something else, but that's not that kind of show.
You gonna say they didn't pay their tithes before they left? Is that what you gonna say?
I ain't gonna say nothing about that. I'm gonna just leave that right there. You know, we still coming out of this pandemic. It's still rough. You know, I'm just saying.
Okay.
And since I said pandemic, that's another side that has been ridiculous for many pastors, many churches, many leaders trying to maintain when there's nobody in the building.
Yeah.
Again, systems.
Right.
being exposed to certain systems will bring about a level of financial maturity that you don't even have to worry about if the building is open today or tomorrow.
Right.
You don't have to worry about Sunday morning offering. You don't have to worry about any of those because it's already taken care of.
Yep. Very true.
But I know so many pastors who have gone into a deep depression, dealing with anxiety, headaches on a regular basis, not sleeping, the whole fatigue piece. I know many of pastors who just quit.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Walked away and said, you know what? I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good.
Just because there was this change.
It was a change. Okay. How's this? Growing up, I used to love to go to certain parties.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the reason I went to parties was, one, because I'm around people that I know and I love and all of that.
Right.
Two, it was entertaining.
Right. Right.
The problem with the modern day church is that we don't come for empowerment. We come for entertainment.
Entertainment. Yep.
And now, since we're in the pandemic and had been in it for the last few years, people fell off because they were not being entertained at their weekly party.
Ooh. That is so true.
I'm just saying it's a weekly party.
I'm glad you said
entertainment.
You are so right. Yeah.
And now, since they have not been entertained and had that social club meeting every week. And now, okay, so now the whole stress, the whole weight is on the pastor. So like here in the city, churches were shut down, and of course we were not, placed on the essential workers list.
Right.
So since church was not essential, but the liquor store was. So now we have more people are diving into the liquor store and having other issues on the backside of that nowadays that I'm dealing with. It's crazy how much on the addiction side that I have to deal with now coming out of this pandemic, because the liquor store and the grocery store and the hospitals was only things that were open. But church was not essential. So I go from seeing 3,000 to 4,000 people every week to now I can only have 10 people in my building.
Yeah. What do you do?
10 people, and we had to be away 6 to 8 feet away from each other.
Right.
Making those adjustments, trying to make things work.
Yeah.
And then, dang, this church ain't paid off. I'm just saying, but this ain't paid off. It's not, it's not. There's a mortgage attached to this thing.
Right. Mortgage, electricity, water,
all the things.
All them things.
So that people can actually come and have an experience with God.
Right. And comfort.
But there's a bill attached to it.
Right.
That now is squarely on my shoulders.
Yeah.
As many pastors were during the same time.
Right.
That where do I go? What do I do? What's out there for us? Dag, I still got a staff. I can't just fire my staff.
Right. And you have a family.
And I have a
family. Staff have family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us not forget that. Your wife, your kids, you still have that.
Yeah. Still have that.
Which congregations forget. You are a human being.
Yeah.
With a family.
No. You forgot. You forgot what I said in the beginning. We're not human beings.
Yeah.
We're not human beings.
Yeah.
Call me Thor. His movie getting ready to come out. Call me Thor. Yes. I got the hammer in my hand, and I'm part human and I'm part God.
Right.
And I can fly through the air if I swing this hammer around fast enough.
Yeah. And it's so sad that we as the congregation, we've put you guys in that place.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What can we do? What can we do to change that? Like what is it can we do? leave you alone. Don't call.
No, it's not that. It's how can I put it this way? Develop your own relationship.
There you go.
Because often a lot of us know religion, but we don't have a relationship.
Right.
And if you really develop your own relationship,
yeah.
That will then take a lot of the day-to-day stress, because now I don't have to pray for your knee, because you twisted your ankle and your knee popped out of place or something. And I ain't got to pray for that.
Right.
And you really just need to go to the doctor and take these meds and go back home and rest. But I have to pray for your knee.
Right.
That's because you are depending on my relationship without developing your own relationship. And I'll be the first one to say I was guilty of that for so many years.
Yeah.
Because my mother, she was strong, strong in the church, strong in faith. My grandmother, strong in faith. Yeah. I was depending on their relationships with God without developing my own.
Right. Right. That's a very, very good response. And you're right. You're absolutely right. My mom has always said that you got to have your own relationship. And you're absolutely correct, because I'm just thinking about me. I've developed my relationship with God. So I don't call my pastor. If I do call my pastor, he knows something is up.
Something's up. Yeah, something's going on.
He knows she really needs me, because I don't call him if my knee. That's if I pray for my own knee. So you're right.
Yeah. So it's like there are some calls that are necessary,
right?
But then there's other stuff that's
yeah.
It's like, why are you calling me with this? I mean, why are you?
And if you say that,
it's a problem.
It's a big problem.
Yeah. But often one of the things that I've learned that's been helping me not to take on so much stress from the position is, and using my counseling degree as well, I sit back and I just listen.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's going to take you a little while to get to where you're really trying to get to, but I'm going to let you talk.
Right.
I'm not going to interject. I'm not going to throw anything out. No, I'm going to just sit back and just, put you on speaker, close my door and just let you talk and take notes, like we do sitting on the brown couch.
Right.
And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to just take notes. And then everything that you tell me, I'm going to give right back to you. Oh, so you going through changes because, you got a 28-year-old son that's living in your basement and ain't paying no bills and don't have a job. But yet he's still eating your food, using your electricity, using your shelter, borrowing your car, using your water in the house. And you really want him out. But that's your baby.
That's your baby.
You want him to grow up, but that's your baby.
Right.
And I'm listening to you tell me all of these things, but you're not willing to do anything about it.
Right. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, you're not really willing to do anything about it.
Right.
You have to do something about it. If you want to see a change, you have to put out a challenge.
Right. Ooh, I like that.
If you want to eat in my house, you need to go out and put some in my refrigerator.
Exactly.
I'm just.
That's true.
Here's the thing. I got a refrigerator. I got an oven, I got a washer and dryer. I got a dishwasher. Hot water heater, all of that. They all have one great thing that's in common. They all work. Okay, all right, my bad. They all of them work.
They do. That is correct.
They all work. Yeah. So how you gonna be in my house?
Right.
Going to my refrigerator, using my stove, using my dishwasher, using my, because it's all mine. Using my my washer and my dryer, but yet you the only thing in here that ain't working. That don't go. No.
Exactly.
We got to change this narrative. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. You're having a good moment over there. That's good.
Oh goodness. That is so true. And I actually posted something about this on Facebook, how we don't take ownership of our own mess. Which is kind of what you're saying. Oh God, I'm laughing because I had some things run through my mind. Some people ran through my mind. I'm not gonna call their names, but I'm just saying.
Right. But we become enablers.
Right.
We are enabling our own anxiety.
Exactly.
Our own headache.
Exactly.
Our own reason for the lack of sleep.
Right.
Our own burnout.
Yep.
And you saying, it's okay, baby, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You can stay here long as you want.
Yeah.
And now what happens if you go, the Lord call you home?
Right.
And then what then happens to the one that you enabled for so many years?
Right.
Because they don't know how to pay bills. They don't know how to go out and work. They don't know how to take care of themselves.
Yeah. Which is a huge disservice to that baby.
You have not exposed them to greatness.
Right. Exactly.
Now,
So I want to piggyback off of that, because earlier you said, when I was asking how could the congregants help the pastors? And you mentioned that they need to develop their own relationship. Do you feel like some pastors aren't effectively teaching their congregation to develop those relationships, or that relationship with God?
Yes.
They're just entertaining.
They're entertaining, and they enjoy being the star.
Thank you. Because that's what I was thinking.
They enjoy being the star.
Right.
They enjoy nothing runs unless they walk in the door.
Yep.
They enjoy the fact that people are worshiping them and not worshiping God.
Come on.
Exactly. My thing is, don't worship me.
Right.
I'm just here to give you the tools that I've learned. I'm here to give you give you what God gave me, a part of my assignment. That's my job, to come in and give you that and introduce you to God. I am not God. I don't want you worshiping me.
Right.
I am a human being. That's it. I love the Lord.
Exactly.
But according to my word, I'm going to make mistakes too.
Right.
Because ain't none of us perfect. So don't worship me, because I'm going to fail you.
Exactly.
I'm going to do something. I'm going to say something. I'm going to be somewhere. You're going to be upset because I'm out in the cabana chilling. You're going to be mad at me about something.
Right.
I didn't speak to you. I had 29 things on my mind, and you mad because I ain't speak to you today. So now I'm not holy. I'm not godly. There ain't no Lord in me because I walked right past you. But you didn't know that I was going to greet the young man who just lost his wife.
Right.
So I'm beelining to him.
Right. And
I walk past you, and you mad because you're, like I said, your big toe, you got an ingrown, and now it's the issue.
Exactly.
Don't worship me, worship God.
Right.
But there's a lot of churches and a lot of ministries and a lot of pastors who have built themselves up as the star.
Mm-hmm.
And you're shining, and Jesus Christ is not shining. He's not the light, but you are.
Right. Which ironically creates darkness.
Well, it said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. Okay, good. But that wasn't you being lifted up.
Right.
I didn't see you get on the cross.
Exactly.
You did not suffer. You did not,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on and preach. Let me just go ahead.
I mean, so now you want me to start talking now. Okay, now you want me to talk. We can talk. How you want to talk?
Listen, that is so true. That's why I asked that question, because that's what I was feeling, but I ain't gonna say it. But
so I mean, but that's it's that side of it, that they become the star versus having God be the star, the light of the world.
Right.
And that becomes the mix up.
Yep.
And then when you operate in this star mentality, then you have the other side of it. The other side of is that you don't train up nobody new because you don't want to diminish your light.
Don't want to share the stage.
You don't want to share the stage.
Mm.
You don't know what succession is.
Right.
So then you have those who will so accustomed to being the star.
Yep.
And everybody depending on them, and you don't want to get out of the way for somebody else or bring up another,
Right.
Behind you. So then you begin to have, as I would call, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying some of this stuff, and you gonna. Okay, well I'm gonna say it anyway. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it. So then you become that 95-year-old pastor with no succession, and you are now stuck in religion without relationship yourself because people are worshiping you and not worshiping God. And then you mess around and the Lord decides to call you home and you have nothing in place to handle the next season that's coming behind you. So while you're so busy being the star, you then become that absentee father or absentee mother.
Ooh.
Because when you leave them uncovered.
Yes.
And when leaving them uncovered, now you got to have somebody else come in to try to pick up where you left off. Yeah. But the problem with that is that often one generation don't trust the next generation because this generation didn't go through what they went through to get to where they are.
Yeah.
So now instead of us building on each other's shoulders, what then happens is that the older generation, because they don't respect the younger generation, makes the younger generation start at their feet and not on their shoulders. When the older generation should be the foundation and we should be going higher, but yet we're stuck down here at your feet because you didn't trust me enough to give me the tools that made you successful.
Right.
Because I didn't suffer the way that you suffered. Right. I didn't fight the things that you had to fight.
Which they're still fighting, it's just different fights.
It's just different fights. So this is my thing right here. Biblical, let's go to the Bible just for a second. David fought Goliath.
Yep.
David went down into the valley and fought and destroyed and killed Goliath.
Yeah.
Solomon never had to fight Goliath.
Yep. Very true. Very, very
so true. Now if this generation has defeated this thing, why are you going to put this next generation back into the same fight that you've already defeated?
Yeah, that's good. So
I'm just saying. So now we have to figure out a way to develop that trust situation from one generation to the next generation. And begin to, and if you still want to run your church or run your ministry as in a star mentality, raise up another star. If that's the way you want to do it, fine. Let them treat you like a star. Great. It's just a different weight. It's just a different place. You can never be out of place. You always have to be there. So, okay, if that's what you want to do, fine, perfect. Raise up another star. So at least in your older years of life, you can enjoy it and not have to die in the pulpit.
Ooh, that is so sad though. It's so sad when I see that. You mentioned you had staff. I'm just gonna move on.
I'm sorry. I can talk about that piece a lot, and
No, because that is one.
Because I'm passionate about it.
Yeah, it's same with me. Because I hate seeing that. The pastor can barely walk, and
So you have to be in the pulpit for two reasons. Then we're gonna go to your. So here it is. They have to be in the pulpit for one. There's a star mentality, and the church can't move forward without them. Then you have the other side of it is that they never prepared any type of financial freedom outside of the pulpit.
Right.
So in most churches, if you're not associated with any type of organization and you're a standalone entity, so now you don't have a any type of retirement fund.
Yep.
You don't have any type of savings plans. You don't have any, because you're working from week to week and nothing has been set to the side.
Exactly.
So you have become accustomed to living a certain way.
Yep.
But if you retire, oh man, I'm 501c3, so I probably don't even pay taxes anyway. So if I decide to go out here, and I'm not bivocational, I'm thank God I'm bivocational. I got a business and I got all kind of stuff I'm doing outside of the church. So now if I decide to go and say, you know what, I'm going to retire, but my little government stipend that I get is not even going to allow me because I ain't paid nothing into it the last 35 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now I got to move out of the house that I'm in. I got to give up the car that I'm in. And then I almost can't even afford to go to the senior citizens facility down the street.
Right.
So I have to stay in position because I don't have a successor.
Yep.
I don't have nobody there. And then I also don't have the finances behind me. So I have to remain in the pulpit until the Lord calls me home.
That's so sad. That is really sad.
It's very sad,
and
but it's so much truth.
It is. I've seen it. I've seen it. I have a financial advisor coming on later, I think in June.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about that very thing because I've seen that. That is a pet peeve of mine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is to see us die in the pulpit because we didn't plan properly.
Mm-hmm.
And my corporate background is HR, and I've always trained managers to have a successor. There was always succession planning.
You got to have somebody that's coming behind you.
You have to. You have to. Just for the organization to continue, you have to have trained someone to come up behind. I mean, you just have to, and we need to do it in the church. I wanted to talk. Go ahead.
Can I drop this on? I know we got, our timing is going crazy right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of just, I just want to drop this one statement, and this might be a little different and difficult for somebody to handle. Death cannot be your wealth transfer.
Ooh. Say that again.
Death cannot be your wealth transfer. Because you got an insurance policy. Yeah, you got an insurance policy. That's cool. You got one.
Wow.
But the only thing that you leave the next generation is what's coming off of this death, this beneficiary, this policy.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that you're able to give. And often they got to take that to pay your debt off before they can even move forward.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, my bad. Let's go. Come on, you can bring us back in, reel us back in, because we talking right now. We just talking.
But that is a burnout topic. I mean, it really is.
It is because I burn out because I don't have the energy anymore.
Exactly.
And I've expended 35 years, and now I want to retire, but I can't retire. And all they're gonna give me is a banquet and a little check, and the money that they raised from the banquet, and they might give me, a plaque and or a watch, and I'm gone.
And you gone. That's it.
But now I can't live.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna forego the banquet. I'm gonna forego the celebration. So I'm gonna stay in the pulpit until I'm able. But now, instead of me doing the proper financial stewardship that I need to have, storing up the grain that I need to store up the grain in those seasons. Those seasons of plenty, I got to store up the grain for the seasons of lack. So since I have not done those things, I burn out physically, mentally, spiritually, because I've stayed too long.
Yeah. Whew, I'm glad you said it.
I'm just
talking. I'm glad you said. I wanted to talk a little bit about your staff, though, and the reason why I want you to mention this is because I have, again, the others have a staff. they have a leadership team. They have,
Mhm.
there's one denomination that has HR, which I'm very passionate about. They have
Mhm. Mhm.
HR. I mean, like, it's a whole staff.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
African-American pastors that I speak to, not too many of them have a staff, or the staff that they have is just some members in church.
As
And
volunteering.
they're volunteering,
Mhm.
or they're not even qualified.
Mhm.
So talk a little bit about your staff, because I am trying my best to get us to get some help.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, to get quality help, oftentimes you have to go outside of your friend zone or your membership zone
Absolutely. And
to
invest.
get the quality that you need so that your workspace and your work environment will be a professional work environment. And then it is not just you and your buddies getting together and you're hanging out. And
Absolutely.
sometimes, yes, it hurts not to hire sister so-and-so that's been here for 15 years. And I love her so much. She's a wonderful,
Right.
wonderful lady,
Right.
but she can't type.
Okay.
She's not professional on the phone.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You got to go outside and find some people who are who has experience,
Right.
and they excel in the areas outside of the church.
Exactly.
Then you can bring those same attributes into the church.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. So how did you go about? Did you post the job or jobs on Indeed or something like that? Or did you do some networking, or how did you go about getting staff?
Well, my staff was people that I could actually count on. However, they
Perfect.
were folks that were already working in the areas that I need them to work in outside of the church.
Perfect.
They were already working in those areas. See, my situation is a little bit differently. I was not just elected the pastor. I grew up in this church.
Gotcha.
So I've been here for 30 years.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You know, I literally from teenager all the way through. My father was pastoring. He's, you know, and he's still the bishop right now.
Mhm.
And, you know, and one thing that he told me, now I've been in this position for about 2.5, close to 3 years. I've been going on my 3rd year anniversary at the end of in October. And I'm so thankful that I made it 3. Lord have mercy.
I know.
You know, how is it to get a church and 3 months later you're in a pandemic?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, how is it to have, you know, that's a whole nother thing that I, you
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
and the reason that I ended up really getting the church as far as being the senior pastor here is because my father fell ill.
Gotcha.
Stage 4 prostate cancer, the whole nine. And the doctor said he was not going to live, you know, a couple of months or so, 18 weeks, I believe that was the exact
Oh,
number that they
wow.
gave him.
Wow.
But he is still living today. And that was several years ago. And he's healthy and he's back in the pulpit.
Come on now.
So you know, we know the Lord has the final say.
Yes, exactly.
But when the moment that as he would say, the torch was being passed, he said, don't make no changes for at least 2 years.
Yes. Sound.
Don't fire nobody.
Exactly.
Don't do anything. Don't make no changes for at least 2 years.
Yep.
And I did not make any changes.
Perfect.
Some of the staff that is here at the temple was inherited.
Gotcha.
And then there's some other staff. I had a couple folk that I brought in.
Gotcha.
I had to pull back from, okay, I need you back over here. Oh yeah, you.
Right.
Oh no, you need to come over here with me too.
Right.
You know, and then I had one that said, you know what? I'm with you to the end. Whatever needs to happen, I'm here and let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just having those good people who were successful outside of the church.
Exactly.
Then you can pull them back in to be additions to what you're doing, exactly, so that you don't kill yourself trying to do everything.
Right.
Because because honestly, you know, we have a church that's probably the what was listed on Washington Post, the largest church in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And so since we have the largest here, it is very hard for one person to try to do everything. Exactly. And without the team that we kind of assembled, and mind you, it's a small team.
Yeah.
You don't need 200 people.
Right.
You just need some folk who are committed and loyal.
Exactly.
And they're not doing it for you.
That's the key.
They're not doing it
That's
for
the
you.
key. Right.
They're doing it for God.
Exactly. That is the key. Absolutely.
Don't do this for me.
Right. I'm so happy that your dad told you not to make any changes, because I've said that when I work with some of my clients who are new pastors. I'm like, once you get that assignment in the AME church, they're assigned. But once you don't go in there, making changes, just go in there and see what's going on. Observe for a minute. See what cliques there are, who the leaders of these cliques, just sit back for a minute and just observe and see what's going on. So I'm happy that your dad said that. And I'm so happy that you have staff. How many people do you have on staff?
Right now, my immediate staff is 14 people.
Gotcha.
My immediate staff is like 14 people.
Good. I love that. And you have an assistant as well?
Yes.
The handles. Okay, perfect. I am so happy you said that, because I have been trying to tell my pastors. I have a couple who just refuse to share the spotlight. They want to do everything. They want to send all the text messages and to make all the phone calls. Why?
Well, if you refuse to share the spotlight, you refuse to get rest. You put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
If nobody else can stand and preach on a Sunday, and you got a staff of 15 ministers and pastors that's there with you, if you refuse to allow somebody else to make the phone calls or go do the hospital visits or go do a funeral, put it this way, last year, here at the Temple of Praise, we hosted 268 funerals.
Oh my goodness.
In 1 year.
Oh my gosh.
There's no way, without a team that's over the entire bereavement department, could I have been there to do all of it.
Right.
One, mentally I couldn't.
Right. Absolutely.
And then physically, 268. Then you got Bible study every week. Then you got 2 services on Sunday morning. There is no way.
That's almost a funeral a day.
Yeah.
Almost.
And keep in mind, we took off several weeks and at a time, just so that my staff can get, because dealing with grief is something else, so that they can just have those moments to recoup and get themselves together.
Right. Absolutely.
But literally 268 funerals.
You mentioned that you said you have a degree in counseling. Do you counsel other pastors? Do you guys have a network or something? And the reason why I ask is I'm trying to create that for some of the clients that I work with. It's just that, especially in my area, there's just nothing. There's nothing. It's almost like there's no place for pastors to go. And I was actually going to, matter of fact, I reached out to I'm trying to think of the company's name. I can't remember the name. I can't remember it, but they are a mental health company, sort of like BetterHelp, sort of along those lines. But I would love to know what's out there for pastors, where they can literally have deep conversations about what they are dealing with. Do you have those conversations? If you do have some type of network, do you want to share it here or?
Yeah, well, often one of the biggest problems that pastors have is that there is no safe place.
Right.
And especially with those pastors that pastor in the same cities.
Exactly.
Because just because you're loyal to them don't mean that they're going to be loyal to you. So now you done shared your issues and your problems to somebody that you thought was a safe place.
Right.
And then it becomes a problem,
Right. Becomes gossip.
there you go. Gossip. And then there are some that will manipulate and take advantage of your weakness.
Right. Right.
And because it's your weakness, and in certain cities is this, okay. I'm gonna say something else. I know I'm gonna get in trouble. Yeah, hopefully y'all listeners are really like praying for me right now.
They are.
I'm gonna have a moment right now. The level of competition in some cities is so ridiculous inside of our own community.
Yep.
And there are many neighborhoods that surrounding your location that you won't even minister to, but yet you want to go into somebody else's house and minister in somebody else's house to pull away from that house.
Right. I hear you.
So, it's hard to get the counseling that you need, from other pastors and from, certain networks and things of that nature.
Right.
Because there's too much competition. So often what the pastors have to do is go completely outside of the pastoral network.
Yeah.
And now I got to go to mainstream.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
To get what I need.
Yeah.
Go to somebody totally outside of the city.
Yeah.
You got to go to somebody that's not even, my same skin tone. I got to go somewhere else to go have this conversation.
Yeah.
Just so that I can begin to get some type of relief.
Yep.
And help for my emotional exhaustion.
Yeah. 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 And that's what I'm hearing. That's exactly what I'm hearing. And I've found that a lot of pastors feel free to talk to me. They feel like it's okay. But then I just felt sad. I thought, man, they should have something. But what you brought out makes a lot of sense. It really does. And it's the sad truth.
Yeah, like, we started the conversation off and the way that we were brought up.
Yeah.
And in our community, it was not a good thing if the pastor had a problem. Not, like I said before, we're operating in environments that's not conducive or have compassion for the mental health side of ministry.
Right.
Because, that one that come in is, that may seem to be a little off. The first thing we do is label them what? Crazy.
Got them.
Oh, they just crazy.
Spirits.
They possessed. No, they ain't.
Yeah. Yep.
They don't have a spirit on them. You know what? They're tired.
Right.
They lost their purpose.
Exactly.
They're experiencing emotional numbness.
Right.
They're dealing with frustration in their homes and at their work.
Yeah.
You want to call them crazy. I want to call them burnt out.
Yep.
And all they really need is a moment to where they can get their purpose back.
Yeah.
Because they're feeling that loss of purpose.
Right.
And now, and that fatigue thing got them looking cross-eyed. And because they didn't came into the church and hollered once or twice, trying to get a little bit of the stress off of them, we call them crazy. But in fact, they are really just burnt out because the kids are going crazy. The husband or the wife is going crazy, and I can't get no peace nowhere.
Right.
I've been stuck in drive for too long.
Exactly.
And we call them crazy, but that's not really what they are.
Right.
It's not a spirit.
Right.
So okay, here it is. Here's the real conversation. Because I lost my purpose, because now I'm dealing with this emotional numbness. Now I can't find the peace that I need and I'm frustrated. I then turn to the other spirits. The spirits that's on the side of the wall at the store. So I turn to that, or I turn to a certain drug, or I turn to what I used to do, what was comfortable for me in the past. Yep. Now I got 10 different relationships outside of my relationship.
Right.
So because those are areas of comfort.
Exactly.
Where I believe I can get a little moment of release.
Yep.
Or relief.
Exactly.
or distance from the actual problem.
Exactly.
I'm not facing the problem. I'm drinking the problem.
Right.
I'm
And
not facing, I'm smoking the problem, you know?
right, right. And and which brings up another point, because the congregation can go to church to get that relief. Pastors don't have anywhere to go. They have nowhere to go.
What blessed me so much is that every year I try to go to 2 and 3 different conferences every year. And I've been doing it for a lot of years. And I went to one conference here recently, one of the best ones I've gone to, ILS, Bishop T.D. Jakes, absolutely wonderful conference. And granted, they had classes every day. They had all kinds of things every day. Now, mind you, my wife jumped on me pretty bad, and she was mad with me because, and I'm going to just say this, I'm going to say it. She's going to be mad at me again, but I'm going to say it anyway. She jumped down my throat because I didn't go to everything.
Mm.
The reason I didn't go to everything is because the very first session, I got what I needed, and then I needed to process everything.
Yeah, I get it.
Because sometimes I don't have to be at an entire conference working through the conference to get everything. I can, sometimes I need a minute to process what I just got.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that.
And I got everything. I could have left and went back home after the first session.
Yeah.
Now, granted, everybody was awesome. Everybody preached wonderful. Everybody was teaching. And the whole conference was great.
Right.
But I got everything I needed to refuel, recharge, and go back at it again in that one session. I suggest that every pastor find a conference that you can go away, that you don't have to do nothing but show up, get what you need, and then go process and go sit down somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go and enjoy the moment. Go and enjoy what you just heard.
Yeah.
You know, most pastors need this right here. And I'll leave you alone because I know we probably over time already.
You're good.
I was driving to my office today, and I looked down, and I saw on my dash P, R, N, D, and L. It's all the gears, to my truck that I drive. So you have park, and you have reverse, and you have neutral, you have drive, and then you have low. It's still a drive, but it's low. And I believe that everybody needs all 5 of those. Often we get stuck in drive. Yeah. And we're just always on the go, on the go, on the go, on the go. But what happened in neutral? Yeah. Sometimes you need that neutral moment. Very true. Yes, the engine is still running. Yes, it's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nothing wrong with the car. You're just in a different gear. Yeah, I like that. You're just in a different gear. You done came out of drive, but now you're in neutral. And some people would say you're in neutral and that's a problem. No, neutral is not a problem at all. Right, I agree. Because if you take your foot off the brake, you're still gonna roll. Still gonna roll. You're still gonna roll. But then the R, you got an R there too. Yeah. Yeah. And in ministry, you have to put it in reverse sometimes. As pastors, sometimes we got to put it, that don't mean you take the ministry backwards. No, you put yourself in a place where you go in reverse. The reason for reverse is to reposition your vehicle. Sometimes you have to reposition some things. Yeah. I like that. Throw it in R for a second. Right. Sit back and look at where you're headed. Look forward, throw it in reverse. Yeah. Pull back just a touch and see what you got going on. Because if you never take a step back and see, because you're always out front leading, you don't know what your stuff look like behind you. Ooh. You don't know if you're causing damage. It might be growth, but is it damage? Right. Weeds grow. Oh, they sure enough do. So you need a moment to kind of throw it in reverse, pull back, look at it from a different perspective. Every Sunday, I often walk out into the congregation, and I go to the back of the church, stand in one corner of the church, just so I can see everybody while praise and worship is going on. I'm looking at it from the back, not from the front. I know what it looks like up front. Exactly. What does it look like in the back? Exactly. I love that. And then you have the park. it's okay to park.
Yeah.
You have to hit the pause button sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
You have to hit the pause button. And then there, depending on the season that you're in, because I drive a truck, depending on the season that you're in, if it's hazardous conditions, as I like to call them, if it's snow on the ground, if it's raining really hard, if you get sand somewhere, you got to deal with muddy conditions,
right.
Because in ministry, it ain't always going to be sunny.
Right.
You're going to have some conditions, some seasons you're going to have to go through.
Absolutely.
And I got this thing called L on my car. I'm still moving forward, but I done dropped the car down in low. Now I can't go as fast. No, I can't go as fast. But when I drop it in low, what then happens is that my suspension tightens.
Okay.
It gives me more stability and control of the wheel.
Gotcha.
I'm not sliding all over the road now.
Wow. That's good.
I'm in low. I'm still going. Now, as long as I have it in low, my engine will not engage to make me go as fast as I want to go. But the low is to protect me.
Right.
The low is protect me. And I know we got to get off, and we can keep talking, but I'm just saying, if I can leave anything with any pastor at all,
yes,
any ministry leader at all, it's very simple, is that it's okay not to be okay.
Yes.
I don't want to see another one of my brothers and sisters in Christ kill themselves.
Yeah.
Go over and not just suicide, but work themselves into the ground.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to handle and deal with burnout.
Exactly.
And you just get stuck in drive and never take the time out to put it in pause and throw some fresh oil in the tank.
Right.
Did I just say that? Lord have mercy. I just said that. Because if you get stuck in drive, and you just keep driving and you just keep driving, eventually burnout happens in your engine. The oil begins to burn. And if the oil burns for so long, it'll dry out the engine, and then your engine locks and you can't move forward. You can't move backward. You are now just stuck. Every once in a while, you got to go put it in park. Pop the hood open.
Right.
Take that old oil out and put some fresh oil in.
Come on now.
Yeah, okay.
Come on now.
Now we just talking. So I challenge everybody, put some fresh oil in your engine.
Yeah.
Take a moment, pause, break.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, I know I was going to get a word today. Actually, I did know. I knew. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. That blessed me.
I'm glad you allowed me to come on. I'm so thankful and humbled that you reach out to me, just to come on just for a moment, because sessions like this is some of the things that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
I love being able to be in a position that I can help. And just like the typical pastor in this country,
exactly.
Often we don't get the help that we need.
Right.
And often what we'll do is that in our own research, because we are compassionate, we may be struggling with it, but yet we're helping somebody else through it at the same time.
Yep.
And then the help that you're giving someone else is helping you too. Yeah. So today you have helped me.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you tell everyone where to find you? Now, is your Instagram public? Or is it
it's public. Okay. My Instagram is pastor_Staples. Yeah, pastor_Staples. You can find me on Facebook as well, WL. Well, no, I don't even know what it is. I think it's W Lamar Staples. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
W Lamar Staples on Instagram, on Facebook, and then of course you can find me at the Temple of Praise, Washington D.C.
Perfect.
Yeah, you can catch us on our website at thetempleofpraise.org. And it's a wonderful place to be. Come hang out with us sometimes. We're right here in the heart of Southeast Washington, D.C., 700 Southern Avenue, where we worship God in spirit and in truth.
Okay, now for the plug. All right, now.
Come on and hang out. You asked me now. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, you know what? I asked. You're absolutely right. Well, I am going to put all of the links in the show notes. And I am just honored you blessed me today. I know you've blessed everybody who's listening. I know you have. And I really, really appreciate it. So I'm going to end it here. But again,
hold on. I got to throw another plug out there.
I
got to throw another, because me and my wife, we have a company together. It's called The Staples Group.
Okay.
The Staples Group. Yep. And you can actually find us at thestaplesgroup.com.
Now, what is that?
Oh, that's our own company. You know, I run the cleaning side and I run the security side. My children have their own clothing line. Okay. They do their own clothing line, arts and designs and paintings. And then my wife does government acquisitions.
Nice.
And she does counseling as well and life coaching. So come reach out, come hang out with us at thestaplesgroup.com. It's wonderful. You need to check it out. It's fun.
Well, I will. And I will add a link to there as well.
Yeah,
I would definitely do that. Yeah. Perfect.
I told you I was bivocational.
I see.
Bivocational pastor.
Trivocational.
I don't just show up. Huh? Yeah. Trivocational. We got all kind of stuff going on. Yeah, we got all kind of stuff going on. So.
Well, again, thank you so much, Pastor. Well, we're going to end it here. Thank you all, and we will see you next time. Bye.